If you're watching this, I need you to believe me. That was the first line I recorded the morning after my shift. My hands were still shaking. My voice didn't even sound like mine. I never planned to tell this story. Honestly, I wish I could forget it. But I can't. Because whatever was in that building is still there. It started like any other bad decision in my life, desperation. I had just moved to a new city. No job. No friends. Rent due in less than a week. Scrolling through job listings at 2 a.m. wasn't how I imagined my life going, but there I was, staring at my cracked phone screen, hoping for anything. That's when I saw it: night security guard needed, immediate hire, high pay, no experience required. That alone should have been a red flag. But the pay? Way higher than anything else listed. I clicked. The job description was, weirdly short. Monitor cameras. Patrol premises. Do not leave your post between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. That last line stuck with me. Why that specific time? Still, I needed the money. So I applied. I got a call less than 10 minutes later. A man with a low, tired voice. Can you start tonight? No interview. No questions. Just like that. I hesitated, but only for a second. Yeah, I said. I can. The building was on the edge of the city. Far from everything. No streetlights. No nearby houses. Just a massive, dark structure sitting alone like it had been abandoned years ago. But it wasn't abandoned. The lights inside were on. When I arrived, the front gate was already open. That felt wrong. Like I was expected. Or worse. Like something was waiting. Inside, the air felt cold. Not normal cold, the kind that sinks into your bones. There was a small security office near the entrance. That's where I met the day guard. An older guy. Maybe in his 50s. He looked exhausted. Not tired. Worn down. Like he hadn't slept in days. You're the new guy? He asked. Yeah. He stared at me for a few seconds too long. Then he sighed. Listen carefully, he said. That's when I noticed his hands were shaking. There are cameras all over the building, he continued. Just watch them. Don't ignore anything strange. I nodded. Easy enough. But then he leaned closer. And his voice dropped. If you see something that looks wrong, don't go looking for it. I frowned. What do you mean, wrong? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he glanced at the camera monitors. Like he didn't want them to hear. Sometimes, things show up on the cameras, he said slowly. Things that aren't supposed to be there. I laughed a little. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. And whatever you do, he added, his voice almost a whisper now. Do not leave this room between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. There it was again. That exact same time. My stomach tightened. Why? I asked. He didn't answer. He just grabbed his jacket and walked toward the door. Then he stopped. Without turning around, he said, if you hear knocking, a pause. Don't open the door. And then he left. I stood there alone. Silence filled the room. The kind of silence that feels heavy. Like it's pressing down on you. I looked at the monitors. At first, everything seemed normal. Empty hallways. Dark rooms. Nothing unusual. But something still felt off. Like I wasn't alone. I shook it off. Just your imagination, I muttered. Hours passed. Nothing happened. No movement. No sounds. Just me, and the cameras. Until 1:47 a.m. That's when I noticed it. One of the cameras flickered. Just for a second. Then again. Camera 6. A long hallway on the second floor. I leaned closer to the screen. Probably a glitch, I said. But then. Something moved. At the very end of the hallway. A shape. Tall. Too tall. Standing completely still. My heart started pounding. Hello? I said out loud, even though no one could hear me. The figure didn't move. Didn't breathe. Didn't exist. Because I was sure of one thing. That hallway was supposed to be empty. And then the camera cut to static. I froze. Slowly, the screen came back. The hallway was empty again. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Because now, the figure was standing closer that I couldn't move. My eyes were locked on the screen. That hallway. The same hallway that was empty just seconds ago. Now had that thing standing closer. No, 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 I leaned forward, my breath getting heavier. There's no way, camera glitches don't move things. They don't make something appear closer. I quickly grabbed the radio sitting on the desk. Hello? Anyone on site? I said. Static. Of course. I was alone. I swallowed hard and looked back at the monitor. Camera 6. The hallway. The figure was still there. Closer than before. Still not moving. Still, just standing. I tried to focus. Tried to make sense of what I was seeing. It looked human. But something was off. Its arms were too long. Hanging lower than they should. Its head tilted slightly to one side. Like it was listening. Listening to me. A chill ran down my spine. Okay, think, I whispered to myself. Maybe someone broke in. Maybe it's just a person. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. I checked the other cameras. Camera 1, empty. Camera 2, empty. Camera 3, empty. Everything looked normal. Except Camera 6. I looked back. And my heart nearly stopped. It was gone. The hallway was empty again. Nope, I said immediately, pushing my chair back slightly. Nope, I'm not doing this. I stood up. Pacing the small security room. Trying to calm myself down. It's just stress, I said. You're tired. That's all. But then. A soft sound broke the silence. Tap. I froze. It came from somewhere in the building. Not loud. But clear. Tap, tap. My eyes slowly moved toward the door of the security room. Hello? I called out. No response. Then again. Tap, tap, tap. It sounded closer now. My chest tightened. And suddenly, I remembered what the day guard said. If you hear knocking, don't open the door. My mouth went dry. This isn't happening, I whispered. The tapping stopped. Silence again. I stood there for what felt like forever. Not moving. Not breathing. Then, bang. I jumped back. Something hit the door. Hard. "Hui," a voice shouted from the other side. I froze. A voice? Open the door, it yelled. It's me. My heart raced. That sounded human. Who is it? I asked, my voice shaking. It's the day guard, the voice said quickly. I forgot something inside. Just open the door. Relief washed over me. Of course. It was him. But something felt wrong. Why would he come back? And why now? I stepped closer to the door, my hand hovering near the handle. Then I remembered something. There were cameras. I rushed back to the monitors. Switched to the camera facing the entrance. Camera 1. The front door was visible. And there, standing outside, was nothing. No one. The doorway was empty. But the voice came again. Louder this time. Open the door. My blood ran cold. Because now, the voice wasn't outside anymore. It was right behind the door. Too close. Too close to be real. And then, it changed. The tone dropped. The words slowed. Let me in. That wasn't the day guard. That wasn't even human. I backed away from the door. Heart pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. No, I whispered. I'm not opening that. The thing on the other side stopped. Silence. Then slowly, very slowly. Scratch. Something dragged across the door. Like nails. Long, sharp nails. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I covered my ears. Stop, I whispered. Just stop, and then. Everything went quiet. Completely quiet. I stood there, shaking. Waiting. Listening. Minutes passed. Nothing. Finally. I slowly lowered my hands. And turned back toward the monitors. Everything looked normal again. Too normal. I exhaled deeply. Trying to calm down. Okay, I said. You're fine. Just stay here. Just watch the cameras. Then I noticed the time. 1:59 a.m. My stomach dropped. 1 minute. 1 minute until 2 a.m. The time the guard warned me about. And suddenly, every screen flickered. At the same time. All cameras. Static. My heart stopped. No, 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 the screens went black. Then, one by one, they turned back on. But something was different. Every single camera was now showing the same thing. That hallway. Camera 6. And at the end of it, that thing. But this time, it wasn't standing still. It was moving. Walking. Straight toward the camera. 2:00 a.m. The digital clock on the wall flipped. And everything changed. All the screens. Still showing the same hallway. Camera 6. But now, that thing was closer than ever. Walking slowly. Not rushing. Not panicking. Just coming. Step by step. Its movements were wrong. Too smooth. Too controlled. Like it wasn't used to having a body. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Stop, I whispered, even though I knew it couldn't hear me. But then. It did. The figure suddenly stopped walking. My heart dropped. Its head tilted. Slowly. And even though the camera quality was bad. Even though the hallway was dark. I knew. It was looking directly at me. Through the screen. No, I said, stepping back. That's not possible, but it didn't move. It just stood there. Watching. Watching me. Then, all the screens went black again. Total darkness. The room felt colder instantly. And that's when I heard it. A sound I will never forget. Footsteps. Not on the cameras. Not through speakers. Real footsteps. Inside the building. My blood turned to ice. No, I whispered. No, 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 it's not real. Step, step, step. Slow. Heavy. Getting closer. But that couldn't be possible. There was no one inside. I checked every camera. I was sure of it. So how? Step, step. The footsteps echoed through the hallway outside the security room. It was close now. Too close. I backed into the corner. My hands shaking uncontrollably. Stay in the room between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., the guard's warning echoed in my head. I'm staying, I whispered. I'm not moving. The footsteps stopped. Right outside the door. Silence. Then. Knock. Soft this time. Not like before. Gentle. Almost polite. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Another knock. Knock, knock. Please, a voice said quietly.